Good morning, everyone. So, we have started with the chapter Surface Chemistry. We discussed regarding colloidal formations. Colloidal double layer formation we have seen in which positively charged ions, say for example, we can call them electrolytes. They were surrounding the colloid particle. Likewise, second layer will also has come and that is considered to be negatively charged electrolytes. Positive charged electrolytes will form first layer. Similarly, negatively charged electrolytes will form second layer that we discussed in the case of electrical double layer where it stabilizes the colloid. Similarly, you can see here next process which is referred as electrophoresis. Let us understand what will be the criteria we need to understand in case of electrophoresis process. So, this is considered to be, as I told you, colloids generally will have charges. With the help of this practical, we can understand charge of colloids. So here this experiment mainly confirms the charge on the colloidal particles. Whenever colloidal particles have charge on them, they definitely show Tyndall effect. That is, moment of colloidal particles will be seen. Now we have a YouTube here. In this YouTube, we will be having colloidal solution. Colloid solution is generally made of dispersion phase and dispersion medium. Dispersion phase is said to be small quantity. In general term, we call it as solute. Dispersion medium, we can call it as solution. Now, if you put the electrodes in this YouTube, you will be having positively charged electrode and negatively charged electrode. And we can tell here that the dispersion medium which is present here is considered to be negatively charged will start moving towards the positively charged electrode. Likewise, we have dispersed phase. It will be start moving towards the negative electrode. That means dispersion phase and dispersion medium are said to be oppositely charged and they will be moving towards respective electrodes. So this confirms charges are present on colloid particles. Okay, next term we have to understand about coagulation process. What do you mean by coagulation? So coagulation is nothing but whenever we have colloidal particles, they are going to be surrounded by certain electrolytes in excess. When certain electrolytes are added in excess, colloids will be losing their stability, and due to loss of stability they settle down of the colloidal particle. These colloidal particles will be settling at the bottom of the container. Let us consider this is a container in which we have certain colloidal particles. Okay, due to addition of certain extra or excess electrolytes if you add, they will be surrounding these colloidal particles, and due to heavy weight they all will start settling at the bottom. Colloidal particles will start settling at the bottom, and this process of losing the stability of colloids and settling at the bottom itself is going to be referred as coagulation process, or we can also call it as precipitation process. Okay, so this is how coagulation takes place. Now you can see here one example we can consider. I have lyophobic colloids. Phobic in the sense do not have love with the solvent. They are not easily soluble in the solvent. Such type of colloids are referred as lyophobic colloids. So lyophobic colloids are said to be water or solvent non-loving type of colloids. Here let us consider electrophoresis in order to explain this part. We have colloidal particles. Okay, so when excess of current is passed over here, the colloid is going to undergo coagulation. Here when you pass the excess of current in this one, the charge on this is said to be a colloidal solution. Okay, let us consider this is positively charged. To this positively charged colloid particle, some electrolytes, that is negative electrolytes, will start combining. They will start arranging surrounding to the colloid, and excess of addition of these electrolytes make multi-layers. Due to multi-layers, this colloid particle loses its charge. When charge is lost, finally what will happen? It is going to lose its stability. Stability is lost. Due to loss of stability, these colloid particles will go and sink. They will become like coagulated. I must tell you example, daily life example. If you consider a egg you will be considering, and if you are going to put it on a ತವಾ ಮೇಲೆ ಎಗ್ಗನ್ನು ಒಡೆದು ಹಾಕಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಏನಾಗ್ತೈತದ, ಗಟ್ಟಿ ಗಟ್ಟಿ ಆಗ್ತೈತಿ, ಮೆತ್ತಗೆ ಆಗ್ತೈತಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದೇ ಥರ ಕೊಲಾಯ್ಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಲೈಟನ್ನು ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಲೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟೆಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಕೊಯಾಗುಲೇಟೆಡ್. ದ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಎಗ್, ಇನಿಷಿಯಲಿ ಏನಿರ್ತೈತೆ ಅದು ಒಡೆದು ನಾವು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್. ಕೊಯಾಗುಲೇಷನ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅದು ಮೆತ್ತಗೆ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಗಟ್ಟಿ ಆಗ್ತೈತಲ್ಲ, ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಕೊಯಾಗುಲೇಷನ್. ಕೊಲಾಯ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆ ಕೂಡ ಈ ಥರ ಕೊಯಾಗುಲೇಷನ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕ್ಯಾರಿಡ್ ಔಟ್. ಓಕೆ, now let us understand regarding mutual coagulation. Mutual coagulation is also referred as mixed coagulation. ಏನಾಗ್ತೈತಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಕೊಲಾಯ್ಡ್ 1, ಓಕೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಕೊಲಾಯ್ಡ್ 2. ಎರಡು ಟೈಪ್ ಕೊಲಾಯ್ಡ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿವಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಕೊಲಾಯ್ಡ್ 1 ಒಳಗೆ ಡಿಸ್ಪರ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಫೇಸ್ ಏನೈತಲ್ಲ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ಡ್. ಡಿಸ್ಪರ್ಷನ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಂ ವಿಚ್ ಈಸ್ ವಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಆಸ್ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ that is negatively charged. Dispersed phase, dispersion medium of colloid 1 is entirely different from that of the colloid 2. When you intermix these two, colloid 1 and colloid 2 are intermixed, then their charges are going to be repelled. Either positively charged dispersed phase repels negatively charged dispersed phase of other colloid. ಎರಡು ಮ್ಯೂಚುವಲ್ ಕೊಯಾಗುಲೇಷನ್ ಆಗುವಾಗ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಬಿ ರಿಪೆಲ್ಡ್ ಈಚ್ ಅದರ್. That is, intermixing of colloids with oppositely charged will make these two colloids to get coagulate. Two oppositely charged colloids will be coagulated when they are mixed each other, and that is called as mutual coagulation or mixed coagulation. Next we have coagulation process can be carried out by boiling the colloids. If you have colloid solution, you are going to boil it. Then also we are going to get the coagulated substances or precipitates. Daily life example, if you consider milk, you can consider milk. If you take 2 liters of milk, it is going to be heated for a prolonged time. Then after heating, it will give us around 100 gram of solid precipitate with which we can prepare paneer, khawa and all. Okay, that process of boiling this kind of milk itself is also considered as a kind of coagulation process. So here we will be having AGI. AGI is said to be, I told you previous example, AGI is considered to be a precipitate. It is going to be surrounded by certain negatively charged electrolytes, and due to coagulation it will be due to overheating it will be forming coagulates. This is another example. Similarly, this is first example, I told you boiling of a milk is the second example which forms khawa. Okay, so next we have persistent dialysis. Persistent dialysis, dialysis you all know, we have seen Bradig's method and other methods of dialysis. So it is nothing but prolonged dialysis. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಯಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ಸನ್ನು ಕ್ಯಾರಿ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಇನ್ ದ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಅಪ್ ಎಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಲೈಟ್ಸ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನೋಡ್ರಿ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಕೊಲಾಯ್ಡಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್, excess of electrolytes if you are adding, like example potassium iodide, if you are adding, first layer ಏನು ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೈತಿ, iodine first layer ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಯ್ತು. Similarly second layer ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಯ್ತು. Due to excess of electrolyte, these are going to be mixed up together. These charges are going to be mixed up and whole charge of this colloid is going to be lost. In the sense, stability of colloid is lost. When stability is lost, overall charge is going to be neutralized. This overall charge is going to be neutralized, and then whole molecule is going to be coagulated. Excess of electrolyte makes coagulation, and this precipitate which is obtained here is going to settle at the bottom of the container. Now this K plus which we have added here, electrolyte in excess what we have added, is going to be considered as coagulating ion. What we call it as K plus. K plus is said to be coagulating ion, which makes this AgI get coagulated. Okay, now let us see regarding Hardy's schedule rule. This is also one of the important rule, can be asked for your examination, and it is most important also. Imagine you have a colloidal particle. This colloidal particle is negatively charged, okay? And you also have one more colloidal particle which is positively charged. This negatively charged colloidal particle is going to be surrounded by excess of electrolytes. This at the middle you have, it is called as colloidal particle, and it is going to be surrounded by certain electrolytes. Imagine it is like this. And similarly, see here, this is positively charged particle, okay? It is going to be surrounded by certain negatively charged particle electrolytes, okay? When you add excess of electrolytes to the negatively charged colloid as well as to the positively charged colloid, automatically coagulation process is going to take place. So excess addition of electrolytes either to the positively charged colloid or to the negatively charged colloid, what will happen? Coagulation process is going to be carried out. Okay, that is also considered as flocculation process. See here, think that you have negatively charged colloid. So what amount of coagulating we must have to add, that we are discussing here. See, for example, I have one charge over here, and for this one negatively charged particle, if you are considering sodium gives one electron, valency is 1, Na plus. It means it loses only one electron. Similarly, if it loses one electron and it will get combined here, Na plus, and this is also one combination takes place. See here, we have barium. Barium have two lost electron and two charge. With the help of two charges, it will combine with two barium. 2 plus 1 it will happen. That means you will get two charges over. If you consider sodium, only one charge. Like that, higher the valency of these atoms, higher the valency of these metals, higher will be the flocculation process. So here Al plus 3 is there. Na plus, Ba2 plus, Al plus 3 is there. Okay. If we consider these three, Al plus 3 will be acting as a good flocculating agent or coagulating agent. Even if you consider any other metal like M plus 4 which has valency plus 4, it will be also considered as very good flocculating agent than that of the Al plus 3. So very first position we can give for the M plus 4. Valency is highest. Higher the valency, higher will be the charges are going to be surrounded to the middle this colloidal particle. And we can say that flocculating ions, and higher the flocculating ions they generate, process of flocculation will be carried out faster. Process of flocculation will be carried out faster. So we can say that greater the valency of flocculating ion, greater will be the coagulating process or coagulation process. So for negatively charged colloid particle, we can consider Al plus 3 will show highest range, Ba plus 2 next, then will come Na plus. And similarly for positively charged colloid, if you have positively charged colloid, then phosphate ion which releases 3 minus charge for this positively charged colloid. So PO minus 3 is considered to be most prominent than sulfate than chloride. So this valency is nothing but It is referred as flocculating power. It is referred as flocculating power. So I could tell here coagulating value or coagulation or flocculation, if we consider, what will be the value, how much it should be. So that is minimum concentration of electrolyte. So here Al, I have taken only 1 mole of Al, okay, but it is releasing +3 to the particle, colloidal particle, but mole is only 1. Here also it is only 1 mole, but it releases only 1 ion. Likewise, minimum concentration of electrolyte, if you consider, then higher should be the precipitate formed. If you are performing one reaction for 2 hours, then the higher electrolyte, that is minimum concentration of electrolyte, that will be mentioned in terms of millimole per liter. Minimum concentration of electrolyte taken in millimole per liter, it is required to make the precipitate of the colloid, sol also we can call, in 2 hours. So finally, this is most important equation I have written here. Coagulating value is inversely proportional to coagulating power. Coagulating value is high, the range is very high, then coagulating power will be increased. They are inversely proportional to each other. This is low, this will be high. Coagulating power is low, coagulating value will be very high, you will be getting. So this is how we will be expressing the equation that is called as coagulating value. Now let us understand regarding emulsions. So emulsions are considered to be some examples of colloids. Emulsions are nothing but they are colloids only. But when dispersion medium and dispersed phase are in liquid phase, such type of colloids are called as emulsions. ಡಿಸ್ಪರ್ಷನ್ ಫೇಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಟ್ ಯಾವುದು ತೊಗೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀರಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಡಿಸ್ಪರ್ಷನ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಮ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಸಾಲ್ವೆಂಟ್, that must also be liquid. When two phases are in liquid, that is dispersion medium is also liquid, dispersed phase is also liquid, and such type of combination of colloids are called as emulsions. Okay, emulsions mainly categorized into 2 types, that is oil in liquid. So oil is considered to be dispersed phase, water is considered to be dispersion medium. OW ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಿದೆ, ಇದು oil, ಇದು water. So a small amount of oil is added in a water, that is oil is dispersed in water. Example nodri ille milk. We can see certain oily droplets in a milk, right? Then vanishing cream ಒಳಗೆ ಏನಿರ್ತೈತಿ, ಆಯಿಲಿ ಇರ್ತೈತಿ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡ್, ಬಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಏನಿರ್ತೈತಿ, ವಾಟರ್ ಇರ್ತೈತಿ. Similarly, you can consider this one, water in oil. Water is considered to be dispersed phase here. Water is excess and oil is less. Water is considered to be dispersed phase in oil. So butter and cream are example for water and water dispersed in oil. These are 2 categories of emulsions. Okay, next we have certain emulsifying agents. So what do you mean by emulsifying agents? When these agents are added to the emulsion, then whole emulsion will become more stable. Initially stability will be very less. When you add emulsifying agent, the stability of those emulsions will be increased, and such addition of compounds are said to be emulsifying agents. Okay, now we have certain examples present surrounding to us. So what are those colloids which are present around us? So blue is said to be color for the sky. Why does the color of the sky is blue? Some of the particles, dust particles, fog, mist, water droplets which are present in the environment or atmosphere, they will be absorbing a color of light which is complementary to the color, that is complementary color is blue. So the reason why whenever we see the sky, it will be showing us blue color. The other colloids which are also present in the atmosphere are said to be fog, mist, rain, as well we can quote blood, As an example, as also soil. On the soil, we can see adsorption processes takes place when water comes, and rain is said to be one of the colloidal range. Colloidal range ಒಳಗೆ ಬರುವಂಥವು ಇವೆಲ್ಲ particles, fog, mist, rainwater, blood, soil, all will be coming under the range of colloidal particle, that is 1 to 1000 nanometer. ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೈಗೆ ನೋವಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಬ್ಲೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಆಗತ್ತೈತೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊರಿ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ addition of alum or milk of magnesia, what will happen? Coagulation takes place and blood flowing is going to be stopped by adding these solutions, or FeCl3 ferric chloride also we can add here. So now next we need to understand, this is somehow most important, it is being asked in the examination and more chances are there regarding formation of delta. What do you mean by delta here? Delta andre ಏನು ನೋಡ್ರಿ, river water you have seen, no? ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ನೋಡ್ರಿ example ತೋರಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. This is said to be a river. Okay, this is said to be a river. Here this river is added by sea. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಿ ವಾಟರ್ ಏನಾಗತೈತಿ, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಿಕ್ಸಪ್ ಆಗತೈತಿ. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ರಿವರ್ and this is referred as sea. Sea water is going to be added to river. Sea water ಒಳಗೆ ಏನು ಇರ್ತವ್ರಿ, Na plus Cl minus, lots of electrolytes will be present. When direct combination of these electrolytes to the sea water, what happens, ಇದು ಉಬ್ಬು ತಗ್ಗು ಆಗಿರ್ತೈತಿ. ಸೀಗೆ ವಾಟರ್ಗೆ ಮಿಕ್ಸಪ್ ಆಗುವಾಗ ಈ ಥರ ಸಣ್ಣ ಬೆಟ್ಟದ ಗತೆ ಆಗಿರ್ತೈತೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ದಾಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ದಿಸ್ accumulation of particles during approach of sea water to the river water itself, this accumulation of particles itself is called as delta. What we call it as? We will call it as delta, and this process is called as formation of delta. Okay. So now let us discuss regarding lyophilic colloids. Lyophilic colloids are very happy, they will be exist at very well in the solution phase. Lyophilic andre ಏನು ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಪರ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಫೇಸ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಪರ್ಷನ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಂ. ಇನ್ ದ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಬೋತ್ ಟುಗೆದರ್ easily mix up each other and they exist, and more will be the stability, right? So lyophilic colloids will be having charge and they are very good, they shows very good solvation energy. And electrolyte, if you add, when you add the electrolyte, what will happen? See here, say for example this is colloid which is positively charged. If you are adding the electrolyte of the negative charge, okay, so dispersed phase and dispersion medium which are very happily living in this condition, that is solution condition. Now what will happen, this positively charged colloid repels this negatively charged dispersion medium. Dispersed phase repels this dispersion medium. So here breaking of the solvation is going to take place. Once a solvation is break up here, electrolyte makes a prominent role. This particle, that is colloid, gets combined with other electrolyte and whole stability is going to be lost. Colloid becomes unstable. Okay, so in order to make this lyophilic colloid stable, what we have to consider? See here, we need to consider certain solvents. Solvents should be considered such a manner that here hydrophilic, if you are going to add water molecule, if you are going to add water to the colloid, then what happens when water is added to colloid? This colloid particle which is having positively charged and is surrounded by negative electrolyte, okay, it is surrounded by negative electrolyte. Then this water, if you add, it doesn't allow any electrolyte go inside this one. When water is surrounded by this colloid, any electrolyte if you add here externally, this whole layer doesn't allow this electrolyte get into the colloid particle, so that we can consider dehydration process is going to take place. That means hydrophilic it will become. This colloid will come in love with water and electrolyte action will not take place. This is nothing but protection of colloids. Say for example, as I told you, by taking this example I have written here. Okay, I have shown you diagram. This is said to be lyophobic colloid. Here inside what I have shown here, this is referred to be lyophobic colloid. Lyophobic colloid is added by solvent which is lyophilic. That is, it will be acting as a, this is lyophobic, water non-loving. This is said to be water loving. Addition of this one makes this layer. Once this protective layer of water is formed here, electrolyte will not be get enter easily to this colloid, and this will be considered as a protective layer for this colloid. Okay, and such protective agents are called as protective colloids. These protective colloids are said to be hydrophilic, and they will protect the colloid which is hydrophobic in nature. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವಾಟರ್ ನಾನ್ ಲವಿಂಗ್ ಇರುವಂಥ ಕೊಲಾಯ್ಡನ್ನು ವಾಟರ್ ಲವಿಂಗ್ ಇರುವಂಥ ಸಾಲ್ವೆಂಟನ್ನು ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಲೇಯರ್ ಏನು ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗ್ತೈತಲ್ಲ, ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಲೇಯರ್ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಡ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಲಯೋಫೋಬಿಕ್ ಕೊಲಾಯ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ನಾಟ್ ಅಲೋಯಿಂಗ್ ದ electrolyte to enter in it, and those are called as protective colloids. So we have come to the last part of the chapter, that is applications of colloids. Applications consider ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತೈತೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ. This is chimney. Chimney in the sense ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಒಳಗೆ ಇರ್ತೈತಲ್ಲ ಅದು. ಇದರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, poisonous gas will be moving away. Poisonous gas will be introduced to the atmosphere. ಪಾಯ್ಸನಸ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸನ್ನು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಟ್ಮಾಸ್ಫಿಯರ್ಗೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ it will be causing some harmful effects on living system. In order to prohibit that one, ಇಲ್ಲೇ 2 ಚೇಂಬರನ್ನು ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಚಿಮ್ನಿ ಒಳಗೆ. ಚಿಮ್ನಿ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ. ದೀಸ್ 2 ಆರ್ ರೆಫರ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಚೇಂಬರ್ಸ್. ಯಾವುದ್ರ ಚೇಂಬರ್ ಇವು? ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕಲ್ ಪ್ಲೇಟ್ಸ್. These electrical plates are made adhere to the chimney. Why these are made to adhere here? These are made adhere here mainly because to absorb the poisonous gas like carbon, arsenic, dust which is present in air. ಇವು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತವು, ಗಾಳಿಲಿಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗುವಾಗ ಕಾರ್ಬನನ್ನು, ಅರ್ಸೆನಿಕ್, ಡಸ್ಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಪಾಯ್ಸನಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ ಅವನ್ನ ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಬ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾವೆ ಈ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕಲ್ ಪ್ಲೇಟ್ಸ್. And due to which to the larger extent we would release good air to the atmosphere. So and these are called as electrical smoke preceptors. ಅದರದ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಟರ್ಮಿನಾಲಜಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊರಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕಲ್ ಪ್ಲೇಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ನಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ ಅಡೇರ್ ಇರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ ಅವು ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಅವಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಸರು ಏನಂತಾರ, ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ರೆಫರ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕಲ್ ಸ್ಮೋಕ್ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಪಿಟೇಟ್ಸ್ or precipitators, or also called as Cottrell precipitators. This is the name for these electrical plates. Then you can see here ಪ್ಯೂರಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಫ್ ಡ್ರಿಂಕಿಂಗ್ ವಾಟರ್. ಮೊದಲಿನ ಕಾಲದೊಳಗೆಲ್ಲ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಪಟ್ಟಕ ಹಾಕ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ನೀರೊಳಗೆ, ನೆನಪಿರ್ಬೋದು ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ. ಪಟ್ಟಕ ಈಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಅಲಮ್. If you add a powder of alum, it will do adsorption of unwanted particles or dust particles present, unwanted particles or impurities present in the water can be adhered. Adsorption ಆಗ್ತೈತಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲಮ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ. ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾವು, ನೀರೊಳಗೆ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಸೆಟ್ಲ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಡ್ತಾವೆ. ಅಲಮ್ ಜೊತೆ ಕಂಬೈನ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಸೆಟ್ಲ್ ಆಗ್ತಾವೆ, ಮೇಲೆ ನೀರು ಪ್ಯೂರ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ರಿಟೈನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಡಿಸಿನ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಅರ್ಗೈರಾಲ್ ಅಥವಾ ಏನೋ ಪ್ರೊನೌನ್ಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಮಾಡ್ರಿ. AG ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಸಿಲ್ವರ್ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ವಿಚ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಬಾಬ್ಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಐ ಲೋಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಐ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಏನೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಬಂದರೂ ಸಿಲ್ವರ್ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಫ್ AG, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಯೂಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಒನ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಐ ಲೋಷನ್. ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಸಾಲ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ತಾವು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇಂಟ್ರಾಮಸ್ಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಸಾಲನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್. ಮಿಲ್ಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೇಷಿಯಾ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಟು ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಲೈಸ್ ದ ಆ್ಯಸಿಡ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಷನ್. ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಇರಿಟೇಷನ್ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಸ್ಕಿನ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಮಿಲ್ಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೇಷಿಯಾನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಅಡ್ಸಾರ್ಬಿಂಗ್ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಸ್ಕಿನ್. Then you seek tanning process. ಟ್ಯಾನಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಚರ್ಮದ ಜಾಕೆಟ್, ಚರ್ಮದ ಬ್ಯಾಗ್, ಚರ್ಮದ ಚಪ್ಪಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಸ್ಕಿನ್, that is going to be very soft in nature. In order to make that skin hard, hardening process is going to be done. That hardening process itself is going to be referred as tanning process, where this leather is going to become hard in nature. Okay, it will also be used, that is adsorption material can also be used for the photographic plates made by silver bromide colloids. And lastly, we can say in the rubber industry also we have lots of applications of adsorption process. So with this last application of rubber industries, we have concluded the chapter surface chemistry. Okay, study well, write all the points and practice these. Once if you practice, you will be having more chances to get the questions from this chapter.